Greetings everyone, and welcome, very warmly welcome to this Google Hangout, where you will learn the 3 ways how sex and money make you a better leader. My name is Maria Appelqvist. I got a PhD in sociology, and for the past 10 years I've been coaching hundreds of leaders into their full potential and power, and seeing who they really are as a leader. My own background and story becoming curious in the field of leadership is actually a long story, but in order to make it very short, my background as a migration researcher took me into the awareness from my own research that there was a need for a new kind of leadership, and that people in our organization are taking responsibility in a whole new way. From my research, I learned that a lot of people, they go to the job just because they want to have a job and not for actually wanting to create something new in the circumstances of either for themselves or for the people they're working with. And all this research I did took me into my own personal development, but also training. My first training to a professional coach that continued with more training, more coaching training. I became an organization and system coach, relationships coach. I extended even further, because when we're working on our personal development, we also sooner or later come into the area of sexuality. And somehow I got to see everything clear, what the issue of leadership really is about. So I put this whole together in my own theory of understanding. Today I'm teaching in the field of leadership, and I still work with clients. And right now I'm focusing on bringing out the concept how we are created and impacted by our sexuality, but also our beliefs and thoughts around money. And this whole week we're going to meet during 5 occasions where you will learn more about these 3 main components that we will deepening every day. And today I give you the whole overview, but also the introduction for how to understand this. So I work with conscious leaders, and first we can say like what does it mean to be conscious? And I think that could be its own Google Hangout of deciding like what is a conscious leader? What is a conscious leader? And the idea of conscious business was created by Fred Kaufman, who wrote a book about conscious business. And for me, stepping into the realm of consciousness means that we are capable of seeing new perspectives outside of our own ordinary way of thinking. So it becomes something that is outside our typical worldview. It's something that is like a whole new meta world. It's something that is totally new. And the consciousness brings us, it takes us forward to a whole new level where we haven't operated before. So one example from my own journey was how I, for now 10 years, went into a leadership program. And this leadership program, it took me into a whole new way of understanding myself, what I'm capable of, but also what I needed to do in order to dismantle myself. And Otto Schwarmer, he speaks about that. I have this in the library here, the book of Theory of You, how leadership is something about we dismantling ourselves and we're going down in a new understanding of our reality. In this new understanding of reality, everything how we used to think and see the world before is gone, and it's transformed into a new way of perceiving our everyday realities. And from that, we're starting to climb up in another way, and in that new way, we take ourselves to a new way of being. And I would say that is the shift of what it means to be on that side where you're dismantling yourself, because here we are still trapped by our beliefs or judgments or opinions or values. But somehow during the way here, we learn to let go of that, and we're tapping into a different consciousness. That's the reason why the name of my company is Vibrational Shift, because for me, conscious leadership is about, we have to step into that new vibration. It's a vibrational shift we are actually doing in this U-curve that transforms us into this new human being. So I promise more about the difference between unconsciousness and conscious leader in another Google Hangout. Today, the focus is on learning more about what it means to understand the concept of how sex and money impact you as a leader, because that's my strongest belief, that, and what I've seen and what I'm still seeing in the world around me, is how extremely important it is to learn to know ourselves. And here it comes to the first, actually, the first stake of this is that when we're talking about sexuality and when we're talking about money, it's bringing up so much different kind of feelings. Feelings of doubt, feelings of self-esteem, feelings of, we might not even know about them because we haven't even given them a thought. This is a reason why a lot of entrepreneurs are failing in their business, is because they are not in contact with their feelings. They haven't worked their own doubts and fear out, which is part of their subconscious mind. If we're taking a look in this picture, we're seeing how your brain is like a tip on the iceberg. So the conscious mind consists of something around 8%. That's the conscious thoughts. That's what you know you have inside your, what you're controlling. The rest, the remaining 10%, 90%, even might be 92%, is your subconscious mind. In the subconscious mind, there is where you have all these different kind of feelings, beliefs, thoughts that's impacting your life. So here we have what's existing in your head, and for some people they really notice this the whole time. They are so preoccupied with what's going on in their minds, so they are thinking, which in turn is related to a specific sexual personality type that we can have. But it's something about how we are thinking and constantly trying to problem solve things in our mind, and that is resulting a lot of frustrations, but also this longing for peace and a longing for something totally new that is just giving you a space of where you want to let go of being in that mind. And that's one of the reasons why courses in mindfulness is so popular, because people have a longing today, also in organizations, to drop their mind and stepping down in their physical body. And again, this is something I'm playing with again, how we are in the mind. It's very much an expression of the rationality, logics, all these masculine attributes that we have as human beings in form of masculine energy, but we are also feminine energy, and that is something that is expressed in your physical body. The feminine is about creation, it's about being present in your physical body. And as human beings, we need to be in alignment and in contact with both sides of ourselves. We can also speak about left brain, logic, analytical, or right brain, the creative mind. So again, it's different ways of talking about these issues, and that's the first point of view of issues related to sexuality and money is causing us so much trouble. It's impacting us in the final end or actions or capacity to make actions. I'm going to have a Google Hangout every evening, every day during this coming week. And tomorrow, in the next episode of this Google Hangout, you will meet Kimberly Lovell, who is a wonderful theta healer and spiritual guide, and she's working with money. And tomorrow we're going to have a discussion around the self-doubt, the fear, everything that comes up around money. So tomorrow we're going to deepen the argument how our feelings are impacting our actions based on what's existing in your subconscious mind. Tomorrow we're elaborating that connected to the area of money. The next episode that comes the day after, we're deeping in the same topic again with a new guest in the studio. And this guest I'm having is Stefana Johnson, and she's an expert on sexual trauma. She's working with helping women overcoming their sexual trauma and sexual wounds so they can achieve much more in their business. So we're going to go really deep into a much bigger knowledge and understanding how this whole area of fear and self-doubt is causing you that might even prevent you from taking actions, but also from progressing in the way you like to, even if it's in your business, in your relationships, or in an organization where you're working. So my stake is that leadership is all about creating a relationship to yourself, and the better relationship you create to yourself, the more you can create relationships with other people. So in the final end, leadership is ultimately about communication, and it starts with knowing the deepest core and part of yourself, and that's your sexuality, because it has so much around with self-worth and how you value and seeing yourself. And which again is an expression how money shows up in our life. There is research now that from UK that illustrates that people that in this research say they are having a great sex life, they have a higher salary than people that says their sex life is lacking. So this is really something we're going to go continue the discussion with during these coming days. So we're going to the second reason how sex and money impact you. So this comes from seeing and understanding that money is an expression of the successful energy that you can create in your life. Money is, we all have a relationship to money. And we have different thoughts and opinions around money. And for having a business for almost 10 years, I came into the area of working with money after I worked with the area of sexuality. And now I can really see the reason for that, because I remember it was now a couple of years ago when I was trying to work with business coaches, but I couldn't dig in a way because the issue around money was so overwhelming for me. When I had done my own work, I would say my own personal development, but also my training. I became a slow sex coach and a trainer in something in a practice called orgasmic meditation. And as a result of this practice, during the past 4 years, soon 5 years, I probably have fed my physical body with 500 hours of orgasm. And you know that Abraham Maslow, that was one of the leading psychologists that established one field in psychology in the 1940s. He's describing in his hierarchy of needs in this pyramid that he's quite famous for, that there is different levels of needs, and in the bottom we're having our physiological needs, which is basically about breathing, food, water, but also sex. It's a survival instinct. It's about having your homeostasis, having your physical body like being in order. So during my days when I'm teaching how sex and money impact you as a leader, we're doing different kind of assessment where you learn about your sexual personality type and how it impacts you, not only in sexual encounters or in situations that we perceive as sexual, but it's also sexuality is about how you handle heat and how you handle situations that are heated. And as a leader, you might more or less find that you have these kind of heated conversations or heated topics in different aspects. One quite common area of that would be what is called here in Sweden difficult conversations. Like we're having conversations with our co-workers that are difficult in some way because we maybe have to tell this person it's time for them to leave this job, or there is some critical feedback we want to give them, or something else. So difficult communication in relation to leadership is all about your capacity to physically in your body handle heat and handle situations that feels difficult. In the same way, in a business, asking for money, like asking for the sale, it's also something that a lot of people can feel being painful because it's just attacking your physical body with something. So for me, it wasn't until I learned and I cultivated my physical body to be capable of holding really extended, massive orgasms. Like instead of like orgasm being short, but really being prolonged and really like wide and open, and fully surrender into that. Then I also could actually start to take other difficult communications in my life, and I went to find a mentor in relationship to money, and here I learned one of the most important things for my business. When I heard that she said that we all have our own relationship to money, and this is also one of the assessments tool I'm working with, and that we all have a financial life purpose. Just hearing that we all have a financial life purpose, my idea of understanding my business became very clear. And if you have signed up in this form of sexmoney.com/sex-and-money, there is where you see this triangle, which is a part of my logotype. This is actually my logotype right now, how it looks. It was created for me when I understood that we all have financial life purpose. And I suddenly realized the reason why I hadn't developed my own business model in a way, because I'm the kind of person that has been working so much with myself, and in ways I brought on new tools. I took new training. I started with coaching. I went into theta healing. I've been playing in the field of matrix. I'm creating much more transformation for people in a much quicker way today, and so instead of transformation and change doesn't have to take a long time. When people are ready, it can actually happen quite instantly. So So it changed my whole way of working with people. So from all this, since I've changed so much, how could I have a business that was stable? And it was from that idea and understanding this model came up, because this is basically what life is about. We all have up here an essence. An essence is who we are, what we're up to in our life. It's being in connection to your spirit, basically. It's knowing that you are here for a reason, that we all have a reason why we are here. And some people, they are seeking that reason. And we call, some people might call them seekers. But there is something, they know there is something they're here for. Or they have found that actually life is about just creating great relationships and joy and fun. And that's also knowing who you are. Being in your essence is about knowing who you are, knowing what your purpose in life is, and knowing what it means to also meet people in their heart. This can be an expression of the heart, but it's also an expression of your sexuality. Sexuality is like your life force. It's the vehicle, it's the engine that are bringing you forward. It's the engine that's bringing you forward. And that becomes the drive also for creating and generating success in your life. And money is just a feedback of the success you're creating or generating in your life. And mostly we don't make this correlation and we don't speak about it. A lot of people, they are stuck either here in the field of essence, so they go to the next ashram, they're looking for the next yoga retreat, they are looking for things, but they are not generating much in their life. They have a problem in a way because they are so attached to their development of themselves instead of generating money. They have the problem of generating money. Other people are actually making great amount of money, but they are not feeling happy, they are not feeling satisfied. They might be in a relationship that feels unsatisfying. So there is this void inside them. On the outside they look very successful, but deep inside there is a void because they are basically not connected to either their heart or their sexuality or their essence, who they are and what's really important for them. And in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we also learn that self-actualization, like being here in the top, is something that comes quite later in your life after you have achieved other safety goals and money goals and so forth. So knowing who you are and finding your drive. So here, when you're finding your drive from your, I will say, from your desires, it comes from your desire. It's a longing that comes from inside here of your heart, rather than being something that comes from another source. So it's something that comes, the yearning that comes from inside, that brings you forward. So it becomes with ease, light. There is no hard work here, because it comes, you're creating from you. You're creating from who you are and what you're up to in this world. And the money is the energy, it's the feedback, it's the response, how you are creating this. Usually there is a relationship between these triangles in the sides, but not here between sexuality and money, because we don't have permission to speak about it. And that's what I'm doing. And we're going to deepen this discussion even more in the fourth of these Google Hangouts, when I'm having Beth Martins here with me as a guest, which is one of the wonderful, fantastic women I met working with this specific mentor related to money. And we are both using the tools of Sacred Money Archetypes as one tool for helping people to find your unique relationship to money and how it impacts you in your life. So now we're going to the third topic, and before that I need to see what time we have. So we have 5 more minutes left on this Google Hangout. Time just flies, right? when we're having fun, and we can do this from my living room, so which is the part of what I really love with the new technique. So this training is something I usually do in whole day events when people do a lot of assessment around really getting into the knowing of each part of this triangle. So you getting a new understanding of yourself and just open a whole new paradigm. This is totally a whole new kind of like thing. It is an education you need in order to get a new understanding, so you can step into that vibrational shift into the new consciousness of yourself. Okay, are you with me? Yes? Okay, so we're going to the third. We're going to the third part. Sex. Sex. We're speaking of sex. And sometimes we're thinking about sex as the act of sex, which it is, but it's a different teaching. So here I'm pointing out that sex, I told you I was a doctor in sociology. I was trained into seeing that sex is about gender. It's about gender roles. It's something how we are constructed as men and women in our lives. This is something about what it means to how we in our society become trained to be a woman or man. And I'm living in Sweden, which is one of the most equal societies in the world, and we're having a high divorce rate every year that is increasing, and this is not specific and unique for Sweden. It happens in a lot of Western countries. We are also, which I learned from my orgasm, 500 hours of experience, that my sex actually has a voice. I'm sorry to say it, because it just went totally against my old theories to understand that somehow there is an essence in what it means to really find your sex. There is an essence of what it means to be a man and a woman. And here we can understand how we can create new relationship with ourselves. Here we can understand how we create a new life together, but also how we can bring that polarity, that sexual attraction that makes relationship thriving and long-lasting, and how you create and cultivate that during a span of lifetime. And that's something I'm helping couples with introducing them to the practice of orgasmic meditation, and I'm doing different practices of orgasmic healing also, and helping people with that in order to tap into that part of themselves. And essence, again, like everything here is built up with further argument. So last day, I'm finalizing this Hangout series with my dear friend, Mai Wu. She's working with divorced moms who are dating again. And we have both done the sexual journey in different ways and exploring that and come to a new understanding about who we are as a woman. And that's part of what she's helping women with today. And in the last series, you're going to learn more about what it means to tap in and find that feminine energy. So that's the three main arguments, how sex and money are impacting you in your leadership and how you show up. And also as women, how you are showing up in the world as a woman in your leadership, or a man, what it means to be in your leadership. And we're going to dig deeper into each of these aspects, so stay in touch. Make sure tomorrow we are continuing 7 p.m. if you like to see online. Otherwise, you can opt in to the page and have them later via the YouTube channel. Okay, thank you for tonight, and you have a great day or evening. Bye-bye.